All right, folks, I'm back. It looks like the rest of our attendees have have remoted in, so everyone is muted by default here. So this group is going to be a little smaller than my last one I did a little while back today. So what I'm going to do is, any questions you have, take notes for me, please. And then at the end of the webinar, I'm going to try to unmute all the lines, let you folks ask questions. And then we also have a chat window. And what I'll do is I'll read the questions off and try to answer them for everyone. So with that said, we're going to get started here. Obviously, this should look familiar to our RO-Writer customers. This is your work in progress. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring up a second screen. And this is going to be the work in progress on my mobile device or my tablet. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to work on the tablet. And the reason I'm splitting the screens is so you folks are going to get to see the integration and the push from the tablets into the management system and vice versa. So I can assure you we are the only company in the world that's able to take a mobile platform and push data back into the shop management system. There's a ton of other companies out there that do just digital inspection and digital inspection only that can pull a little bit of data out of the management system, but no one's pushing the data back like we are. And our solution is more than just digital inspection, and we're going to cover all that today. It's a much more complete package. It's almost like running a mobile version of your shop management system, and we're allowing you to be free and move throughout the shop. No longer we can be stuck in front of a desktop computer, and we so always refer to as the boat anchor. So with that said, here's our work in progress. So on the tablet, we have a menu in the upper left-hand corner that says work in progress. So if we click on that menu, the top line here is where we assign a user. So if I click on the user field, and I click inside the user's window, this is where you're going to pick up every technician and service writer that's set up inside your RO-Writer system. So in this case, I'm going to set myself up as Warner. I hit OK. We go back to the menu, and now a user is assigned to the tablet. If an employee leaves and you hire a new technician, new service advisor, just go back in this field, change the employee, and you're ready to go. Secondly, the schedule. So I don't have any appointments inside my RO-Writer management system on the schedule today, but if I did, they'd be right here in the schedule field. So let me see if I can find a customer that has a future appointment, so I can show it to you what you see on the tablet. So February 15th. All right, so let's go back to the tablet. I'm going to go out here to February 15th. Hit OK, and there you go. So that's the view of the schedule on the tablet. I mean, obviously, if you had multiple appointments, they would be stacked there. As you can see, we show the time of the appointment, the total labor hours on the job, the customer, and the top labor line for what they're coming in for. So when a customer does come into our location, we can find their appointment on the schedule, just click on the work order, and start the estimate from here. Now, another feature in the tablet here is the team chat function. This is where we can send messages from the tablets to the tablets to the workstations, or the workstations to the tablets. And all that done here. It's really just an instant messaging service. Right now I can tell you this is a global setting. What I mean by that is all those messages will go to everyone. So if you're sending a message to a specific person, please include their name in the message, and then everyone else in the shop knows to ignore it. In early 2016, a feature update will be that you will be able to instant message one-on-one. That's just not quite ready yet. So I'm going to go back here to the work in progress. And here is our work in progress. And if you go in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to hear me refer to this a lot during the presentation today, is our menu. And that's these three little dots in the upper right-hand corner. And this, folks, is where if you want to refresh your work in progress, you can do that. Or if you want to adjust the display on the tablet, that is done here as well. So on the tablet, I have it checked off to show estimates and repair orders. I have my work in progress sorted by customer name or alphabetically. If I click inside that field, I can also sort the work in progress, 5 or 6 other different ways. Another nice feature here is where it says filter by technician. We can set the tablet up, or each tablet, to match each technician. So, for instance, if this is Dean's tablet, I can set it up where Dean will only see the work that's assigned to him in our writer. He doesn't need to see the whole work in progress. Now, if I go back into the display feature, as service advisors, owners, we're going to want to see the whole work in progress because, we're dealing with everyone. So I would just choose all, hit OK, give it a second, and now the whole work in progress reloads. So the first thing we're going to cover today, and folks, I can't stress this enough, is take advantage. We're going to do this training today. We're going to cover a fair amount in this hour. And listen, we don't expect you to remember everything. Our technology does so much. But on our website, if you go to our support page, there is a step-by-step how do I guide. And if you click it here, you can save this on all the desktops of your computer. And I recommend it, right? It's a 47-page document, so don't print it out, please. But in here, it'll list product by product. So if I scroll down here, right now you see the heading here, Loop Sticker Pro. Here's everything about our Loop Sticker software. All the more common questions and settings, and of course, we have all the answers. So customizing our software is very easy. Just find the product in here and scroll through the questions. And like I said, save this to all your desktops and refer back to it regularly. All right, so I'm going to close that. And we're going to get back into our work in progress, and we're going to get back to our tablet here. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, what you see here is a plus sign. And that is how we start a new work order on the tablet. So really, this mobile manager is designed to let our service advisors, technicians, have a better interaction with the customer. In most of our shops, we have a front counter. And our safe spot is behind the counter. Service advisors, sometimes we get nervous. We don't like to come out from behind that counter and interact with our customers. But really, we want that. We want you to provide your customers that level of service that they've never seen before. It's a level of service they can't get at the new car store. But if you've ever been into an Apple store and you check yourself in, and then you go and you wait a couple minutes, someone comes to you, or a customer service specialist, and they give you undivided one-on-one attention. And as a customer of Apple's, it feels kind of good. So your customer ultimately will not be sharing time with the phone and the parts guy and the other technicians and other customers. So we can really provide them, like I said, that wow factor. And you don't have to take the mobile device out to the customer's vehicle. Most shops do. You can just go sit in your waiting room with the customer, sit side by side, and everything can be done on this tablet. That's what we're going to show you here in a couple seconds. So if you look in the upper right-hand corner, we have a plus sign. And when I click on that plus sign, that's how we start a new work order. And I have the ability here on my mobile device to find customers in my RWriter database by customer name, by license plate, or I can click on search by VIN. I can scan the VIN on the tablet from the vehicle, and we're going to go out and try to take that matching VIN and put it into RWriter and find a matching VIN inside the database. And if we find one, we're going to display the customer in the vehicle that VIN belongs to and allow you to start the work order. So today what I'm going to do here is I'm going to search by customer name. And in here, I can type in the customer's last name, hit my search key, and hopefully I find a customer here by last name of Davis. I don't know, since this is a sample database I have here. So here's a company with about 50 different vehicles. So not only does it pull up customers, but also vehicles. Of course, this is more vehicles than I expected. So let's do this. Maybe find... All right, different customers. So I typed in the letters GA in my search engine. So now it's going to bring up every customer or business in my database that has GA in the last name. And I can scroll right through here. Here's all the customers that are inside RWriter. So let's take this guy, Freddie. So as I can see here, the top line is Freddie's personal information. That's your customer record inside RO Writer. And that's this one right here that just turned orange. You have your customer, their address, and below it, what you have here for Freddie is every vehicle that Freddie's ever brought us that's inside our RO Writer database. So some customers are going to have one vehicle. You might have customers that have multiple vehicles. So in this case, if Freddie was bringing in this 1997 Datsun truck today, I would just highlight the vehicle, and if you notice at the bottom of my tablet, there's a button that says Start Order. I would click that. It would assign an estimate number, start the estimate, push that estimate back into our RO Writer desktop, and we're ready to go. Now, let's say Freddie here is just purchased a new vehicle, or is bringing us a new vehicle for the first time, and we see it's not in our RO Writer database. So what I can do here is select Freddie's name, and there again, I'm going to go back up to that menu we talked about in the upper right-hand corner, and here's where I can add a brand new customer, and enter all the customer's information, and push that data back into RO Writer, or I can add a new vehicle for an existing customer, in this case, Freddie. So I'm going to click on New Vehicle. As you see there, it's assigned an estimate number, 4364. I have the ability now to grab the mileage off the vehicle. We can choose a service writer. We can assign a technician right here on the tablet. The promise time you see here is a future release. Actually, you can adjust the promise time in RO Writer, and it will display on the tablet. It's just we can't open it on the tablet and update RO Writer because in the promise time field in RO Writer, it's a locked field for some reason. So that's something we're going to work on here in the future. So now I have the odometer, and listen folks, the key is the odometer. If you're at the vehicle and you have a mobile device, just put in the odometer. You know, all of our software is driven off the odometer and the history of the customer. So no reason to skip the odometer phase. You don't have to write it down. You don't have to run back into the desktop and manually type it in anymore. So I have the vehicle information loaded. Now, if you notice across the top of my tablet, we have a menu, Customer, Vehicle, Order, which is the screen I'm on now because it's underlined in blue, History, and the Inspection. So I'm going to go to the Vehicle tab here. And we spoke about it's a brand new vehicle. It's never been here. So as you see, we don't have any vehicle information. But I have two options here, or three options. I can type the VIN in. Option 2, I can scan the VIN and decode it. Or option 3, which is probably the easiest way, is I can just type in the license plate. And I'm going to put in a sample license plate so you folks can see it. So I'm going to type in a license plate I saw coming into work today, which was Rainy Z, and it's fitting because it is raining today in the Philadelphia area. So I'm going to type in the license, I'm going to choose my state, I'm going to go up to my menu, and I'm going to ask the software to decode the license. And of course it doesn't like this one, probably because it's a brand new vehicle. So let me try, here's one that's a little better here. So what we do here, folks, is you put in the license, and I'm going to say probably 95 to 98% of the vehicles will be in the database here. We put the license in, or you put the license in, and we're going to go out to the DMV, and we're going to bring back the vehicle information. So in this case, Mike 1 in Pennsylvania, that vehicle information, there's your VIN, and it's for a Chevy Cobalt. So that quick, we've identified the vehicle, brought in the VIN. That data now is pushed into RO Writer. We're not going to have any more mistakes with VIN numbers because we go get the VIN from the DMV. If you look off to the right, we have a camera. We can click on the camera. And snap a picture of the car. So we highly suggest that, you know, after you put your customer's information or take a picture of their car. Let's put it in our database. And the reason we like to do that is because when we go back here, if you look at the fourth order down for Freddie, now I have his order in here, I have his vehicle information, I even have a picture of it, and off to the right I have his estimate number. So in the vehicle tab, let's imagine we're at the vehicle with the customer. Let's say Freddie here was coming back and he's been here 3 or 4 times. If he had outstanding service recommendations or declined services, as we call them in RO Writer, they would be in that field you see right there that says recommendations. So what a great place to pick those up and discuss the vehicle's needs with the vehicle owner while we're at their vehicle. If we go to the customer tab in the upper left-hand corner, here's all Freddie's personal information. And I see I have a cell phone here for Freddie in our database. I can verify all Freddie's personal information with him right at the vehicle, and if he says something has changed, there again, I don't have to write it down on paper and go type it back in. I can just reach into the cell phone field here, put in his new cell phone number, and if I go back, now I have a new cell phone number, and I have a new vehicle, and I go to my estimate screen in RO Writer, there's that work order we spoke about. When I open it up, I go to the customer field, cell phone's already in the database. I go to the vehicle field, vehicle information's in the database, including the VIN, and it tells us it's decoded, and there's your license, and there's the mileage, everything we entered on the tablet. So, folks, that fast, we're pushing that data in under a second back into the RO Writer database. And if this vehicle here, or this order, I wanted to add items of labor items or parts, and I put them here in RO Writer, they would then push back into the tablet. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to go back to the tablet. We're going to go back into Freddie's order on the tablet here. Now I'm back at the order screen. If I hit my plus sign in the upper right-hand corner, here's where I can add my jobs. So maybe this car is coming in for alignment. And here's all the different alignment jobs we have. So maybe it's going to get a 4-wheel alignment. I hit OK. There's your labor. Maybe this car is going to come in for an oil change. I'm going to add here. So that's how fast, folks, we can build the work order. We are just picking up all the data that's in RO Writer. That includes your jobs, your recommendations. If you add a new job in RO Writer, immediately it's available on the tablet. So now I've added my alignment. I've added my oil change. If I want to go in here and print out my estimate or print an oil change sticker, I can do that from the workstations. So I can be in the parking lot, print that information. By the time I get back in the shop, I can tear off the oil change sticker, put it in the windshield. I don't have to go to the desktop and do it. Or I can do it from the desktop as well inside our Lube Sticker software. If we want to access repair information about this vehicle, I can go back to the Vehicle tab, go in the upper right-hand corner to my menu, go to the Repair Information tab, and right now we have ProDemand and all data on here. I would select the repair software I want to view. It's going to bring the VIN number right over. It's going to open up a browser on the tablet. Here's where you log in, and you can start doing all the searches on your vehicle. Once again, we can have the tablet at the vehicle, and our technicians aren't running back and forth from the vehicle to a desktop or a laptop. All right. So I'm going to go back into the work order here. If any of these services happen to be declined by your customer, not a problem. You just hold it down, and you can decline or undecline an item, or you can delete an item. So if I decline this item, now you know it's declined, and of course it updates it in the RO Writer database. So this customer, if you notice I have a history tab up here, this customer, being it's a new vehicle, doesn't have any history right now. But what I'm going to do for you folks, I'm going to find another customer here like this customer here that has a ton of history. And we handle history a little different than some of the shop management systems. So what we do here is, if you notice, you can open up the work order, see all the parts and labors by date. And we also tell you the mileage right here inside this window, the date it was in, the invoice or repair order number, and off to the right there you see who the technician was on the job. So it's real easy to identify, who did what work on which car. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go back into the order for Freddie here, and we're going to address the inspection. And this is kind of where everyone else picks up. Everything else you've seen so far, the things we do, no one else does. No one else can you take their inspection software and go out and start a work order, go out and scan a VIN, go out and decode a license, add recommendations, add declined services. So now that's going to lead us into the inspection part of it. So as you see here, like again, I said, the car's in for the first time, so there's not going to be any inspection history. But if this vehicle was in the past and we had done some previous inspections, they would be listed right here in this main window, and they would have the dates of the inspection, the status that they were completed, and the technician's name who had done the work. So right here is where we can click on the plus sign and add a new inspection. So in here, I'm going to select my multi-point preventive maintenance inspection. Up here is if I didn't assign a technician name, I can drop in the technician's name on the inspection. So, folks, the inspections you can build right inside our Report Pro software on the desktop in the customize the multi-point inspection. So that inspection I have open now right on the tablet is this same one here. It's a 35-point inspection. In here, I can go into each inspection point, double-click, edit them, add additional canned notes, canned recommendations, and all of that will display on the tablet. So if I open up something like wiper blades, I can see here's my description of what I'm inspecting. Here is where you're going to pick the category from inside of our writer, and these are all your categories, and put your inspection item in the proper category. In this case, wipers. You get to set up intervals, how often you want to see these services performed. Something like wipers is something we should be checking out twice a year. So I can change that to every 6 months and 6,000 miles or maybe 7,500 miles. Here's a canned note here that says the wipers are good, but I want to add as many canned notes for each inspection point. The goal here is we list all the common symptoms or things that could be wrong with each inspection point. So when our technicians are doing the inspection, they don't have to type their findings in manually. So right now I have a canned note that says the wipers are good. But if I want to add one here, and my title might be wipers torn. And then down in the note text is where I'll put my more explicit description of what's going on. Now I can type something like, upon inspection, of your wipers, were torn or streaky. So that quick, I can add another note. And really, like I said, the goal here is to add as many notes for each inspection item that we can. So now when I go back into wipers, I have 2 notes now. And the canned jobs you see up here, folks, are the recommendations. Well, in our writer, recommendations you make are from your labor operations. So in this case, I'm inspecting wiper blades. So I can go in here, and here's a list of all my canned jobs from all my labor operations in our writer. And I can go in here and I can type in the word wiper and hit search, and it's only going to bring up the the jobs with the word wiper in them. So in this case, we have 2 canned jobs. And of course I've selected them, and that's why you see there's 2 can jobs attached up here. The General tab takes us right back to our starting point. Once we adjust all of our inspection points, we would just save and close our changes. And like I said, we can go back in and continue on. So the key with the inspection, folks, is 1, build it to your liking. 2, make sure it's in the order of a nice even workflow so the technicians are working efficiently around the vehicle. And then go into each inspection point, like this one here for driver's side tire. I have some tire readings in here. Here's my recommendations or jobs to replace the tires, mount the tires. You know, tires might be something we want to check there again, you know, twice a year. It's in my tire category. And like I said, just save your changes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back into the comprehensive multi-point. Let me find something here on front brakes. I don't know if I have anything in here on brakes or not. There's brake service. Oh, there's one here. Inspect brakes. Let me make sure. All right, so I do have some notes in here. I do have some recommendations. All right. So once your inspection's built, you've saved it. Now, folks, when we come back into the inspection itself, and maybe the indicator lights are good. They're not on. And we can make a note that this is all good. And I would suggest, folks, you know, when you're doing your inspections, put as many positive items on the inspection as there is negative. You know, we don't want the customers to think that, hey, every time they come to our shop, it's bad, 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 because they're going to stop coming. So let's look at the next inspection item, the driver's side rear tire. So, and this is something I would definitely write down, folks. This is very critical. As your technicians inspect each item on the tablet, each inspection item, think of it as a 4-part system. Step 1, we want to make a note of what's wrong or why the car is here. So in this case, here's some of those preloaded notes we talked about. And maybe these tires are 1/32. I hit OK. And as you can see, the notes load right into our notes field. Well, we know tires that are 1/32 are bad. So I'm going to click in the recommendation field here. And, you know, like I said, I'm going to make a recommendation to replace those tires. So, like I said, these recommendations are just picked up from your can jobs, folks. So the more can jobs you have in our writer, the more recommendations you can do without having to type in something manually. So like I said, step 1, we put a note, the cause, the problem, what the car is here for. Step 2 is our correction, the recommendation. Step 3 is we're going to select, is it red, green, or yellow? Is it good? Is it due soon? Or is it something we definitely want to take care of today? And step 4, which is the most important step, is that, folks, if our technicians are making recommendations to fix something, and they don't take pictures, they are costing you a whole heck of a lot of money. The pictures are what sell. So I made a recommendation of how bad the tires are. I can click on this camera, and I can take a picture of those bad tires. Now the picture uploads. If I like what I see, I hit the save button. If I don't, I can hit discard and take the picture again. I'm going to save the picture of the bad tires. Give it a couple seconds. There it is. So your technicians also have the ability to go back into those inspection photos and point out the areas of concern for our customer, because our customers aren't always sure what they're looking at. So I can point their eyes right to the problem. And if you notice in the upper right-hand corner, you see a button that looks like a little disc or an old computer floppy disk. That is your save button. You click, it saves the image with your drawings on it, and it's there going forward. So now, I've taken a picture of the tires. I'm ready to move on to the next item. Maybe the inspection's good, and I'm going to go down to wipers. So maybe the wipers are torn. There's that note I added. And I'm going to make a recommendation to to replace the wipers today. We're going to mark it red, and like I said, don't forget, take that picture of those wipers. Pictures are what sell. Seeing is believing. They say a picture's worth 1,000 words. I'm going to tell you guys, pictures could be worth $1,000. There's our picture. Like I said, we can point out the areas of concern. We can tell the customer these wipers are bad. All this can be done with your finger or a stylus. Last, I'm going to put one more in here for those front brakes we spoke about, and then we'll finish up. There it is, inspect the brakes. We're going to mark it red. Maybe the brakes are metal to metal. My recommendation is to do that brake service. As you can see, I can push those recommendations out. Maybe we're going to do that next week for the customer. One more picture. Save it. There it is. All right. So really, folks, technician's just going to follow down the tablet. Can't go wrong. You know, is it going to take a little longer at first than probably your paper inspection? Absolutely. Give them a couple weeks, and they should be doing these inspections in probably 20, 25% less time than in paper inspection. And the beauty of all this, folks, is we're not getting handed a piece of paper that we can't read the handwriting, that we have to spend time with our technician. And ultimately, you know, in the paper inspection world, you know, once all those notes come to us from our technician, we have to then hand transfer all that data into our writer. And that's time consuming. So all these recommendations you see that we just made, when I go back in our writer, they're already sitting there waiting for us. So when my technician is done the inspection, if you notice at the top of the screen in the tablet, there's an inspection status. So right now it says it's in progress because my technician's working on it. But when he or she finishes, they can mark the inspection complete and exit out of the inspection, and now they're good to go. So once the technician marks the inspection complete, what we can do is, one, we can go into the work order. Two, if you see in the services window here, there's all those recommendations. And if you notice, you look at the due dates. 2 of them I made for today, and those front brakes I made for a week from today. So we automatically populate those future dates. So you won't have to type in any recommendations. We push the data in seconds for you folks. All right. So now, once my technician finishes it, we want you folks to come back to Report Pro, which you have on your desktop. And up in the Tools menu here, we have an Inspection Manager. And this is where you see today's date, and you can view that inspection for Freddie. Or you can view it on the tablet. But now, I can go down and see everything the technician did, including the pictures and the drawings. And if I see the guys have mistakes, I can go into these and I can fix little typos like that and resave my changes. I can see all the recommendations and choose those other canned jobs if I see the wrong recommendation was made. And all this will then go back and update our writer. Now guys, once everything's done and this inspection looks good, as a service advisor, what I'm going to do is then, if you look down the bottom right-hand corner, there's a share button. And I can text or email this right to my customer. So we always recommend share via e-text, right? Texting is great because 93% of America are going to check a text message long before they're going to check an email. And the goal is we want to get this report in the customer's hand ASAP because we have their car there all day. Let's try to sell that work and get it done today. You know, a lot of shops tell us that they print the inspection out and hand it to the customer at 5 o'clock. Well, why would you do that? You have the car all day. Why would you want the customer to come in at 5 o'clock, you try to sell them, and then they have to bring their car back a second time? Let's try to sell the work today, right? We have technology. A click of a button like text or email. I'm going to text it. Here's a little message that goes to the customer. It says, please click below to view your vehicle's inspection from Bolt-On Technology. One of our advisors will follow up with you shortly. So now this link's going to be sent to the customer. I've set an expectation that telling them to check it and letting them know that we're going to be calling them shortly. So now I click send, and that message just hit my cell phone. And what I'm going to do here, folks, is you're not going to be able to see my cell phone, but I'm going to open up the inspection link, view it on my phone, and what else I'm going to do here is once you share it with your customer, give me a second, let me go back into this work order here. Then we go down into the notes window. There is that same link. I shared it twice, so it went there twice. That's in the work order notes. And you can copy and open up a browser window. So now once your customer gets that inspection link, you can load it right here on your desktop. And now once they open it and they're viewing it, and you now have the same exact thing in front of you, and look how nice this is. This would be your shop logo in the upper left-hand corner. Off to the right here, you would have all your shop information. We give you the customer's name, the vehicle, the mileage. You have a health meter here. This is weighted based upon how many things you check, red, green, or yellow. And then here's the full color report that goes right to your customer. When they have it on their cell phone or their computer at work, everything's responsive. They can blow up the pictures. They can toggle between the pictures. And they can see everything that is wrong with the vehicle. So now, once the customer opens the inspection, on the desktop, you're going to get a pop-up, a text message that comes back in, and it's going to tell you that your customer has viewed the inspection. And the nice thing is, once you get that automatic pop-up saying that, in this case, Freddie has viewed the inspection, you know it's safe to call your customer and get ready to discuss the inspection. We know they viewed it. It's prime time. We call, right? We're going to load that link. We're going to have it in front of us here on our workstation. So now the customer's looking at it, we're looking at it, and it makes the sale process a lot easier. How much easier? Well, most of our shops are picking up almost 100% return on their average RO. And it doesn't matter if your average RO is $200 or $400. You will pick up added sales. No doubt about it. And the beauty, like I said here, is all those recommendations go into our writer. There's no manual entry. The data is there for future use. And the customer, being that you put this report in their hands, we've created transparency between our shop and the customer, right? They trust us. We're showing them pictures. So that's really it, folks. I mean, it's that easy to use. As you notice, we're constantly adding new features. We constantly welcome. We always want feedback from our shops. Give us feedback on ideas that you think could make the product better. We never stop adding to it. Part of your monthly service, you get unlimited training and unlimited support. So, hopefully this was helpful. But if you need a refresher for training, you can do training as many times as you like with us. Just call our support team or call our customer experience team, and they will set you up with future training. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back to the chat window inside the software. And if you guys have any questions, it says why on my iPad, or how I only have Odometer and Service Writer available, not the Promise Time. So I explained that before. For whatever reason in RO Writer, when you go into the Service Request tab, if you notice here, if you want to adjust the Promise Time in RO Writer, you have to physically unlock this button here and adjust the Promise Time. So, and right now, we don't have a way in the tablet to come back in RO Writer and unlock this field. If this was unlocked by default, it'd be no problem on the tablet. So we're working with them. Now I told you, if you go in here and adjust the Promise Time, so and I change it to 4 o'clock p.m., and I exit the work order, and I go back to the tablet, it will update the tablet, and there it is there in the promised time. Right now, it's just one way from RWriter to the tablet. Yeah, that's something in the future we're working with the folks at RWriter to get them to unlock that field so we can push it back and forth. Promise time's important, you guys. We know that. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do unless RWriter unlocks that field for us. Another message came in. In Mitchell, you could project transfers, time belts, etc. using the Loop Sticker Pro button. How do you do that in RWriter? That's the advanced scheduling feature. The database in RWriter that it's built on does not allow us to do that. So RWriter's been discussing going to a SQL database. Once that's available, some of those advanced scheduling features, those higher tech features, will be available in RWriter, but currently that is not. That's only a service that's available in Mitchell right now. Let's see here. Rick's got a question. We have taken pictures on the tablet to the RO line. Where does that picture go? It didn't show up in RWriter desktop. That's correct, because there again, and that's not only RWriter, but every management system, they don't allow you to show pictures in here. If there was fields where those pictures could be pushed in here in the management system, whether it be Mitchell, RWriter, NAPA, we'd push the pictures in there, but there are no fields in here. So remember, folks, our product is only as good as where we can put the data back in the management system. We use all the principles of the management system. So if they don't allow you to see pictures here, of course, and you take pictures of my product, I have nowhere to put them back in RWriter. Hopefully that's something that some of these shop management systems decide to do in the future. The technology we're creating here, we're probably 5 to 10 years ahead of the shop management system companies with some of the things we're doing right now. So that was a great question. Let's see. So that looks to be about everything. I don't know if anyone else has any last-minute questions you want to type into the chat window. So I'll wait another second or two here. If you think of something that comes up and you don't remember today, folks, you can always call our support line. What I'll do here is I'll bring up our contact page. So there is our phone number right there in bright red. You can send us a message. Just make sure in the subject line you choose whether it's a sales question or a support question so it gets to the right field, and send us an email. So if there's no other questions, I'm gonna end this meeting. Like I said, I did record it. Give our marketing team a couple weeks to kind of clean it up. Oh, wait, here's a question now. Is there a way to show the technician assigned to an RO on the whip screen on the tablet? So let me go back there. So right now, if you have the technician's tablet, and here, so like I have this set up for Dean. Dean would only see his jobs, but this tech, I think what you're saying here is in this work in progress where it says status here, maybe have the technician name. That is something that is a future release where we're going to display that technician name out in the work in progress screen. Okay, it says where do you put in custom symptoms that they want checked out? That would be on the tablet, so let me go back. And let's bring up the whole work in progress again, so I'm going to go back to showing everything. If I go back into Freddie's order here, in RWriter, if you, inside your different categories here, like brakes, you should have your symptoms built in here. It says, diagnose brake problems. And, or like something like this, a brake inspection. With a click of a button, you hit OK, and the labor operation goes right onto the work order. So I think that's what you're talking about there. I couldn't get a recommendation to delete in one inspection. Is that a typical issue or just a glitch? No, you can't delete. What you can do is when you go into the inspection manager, you can either choose another recommendation, or when you get into Aura Writer in the services field inside the desktop, and I'll go there now, that's where, if I go into this work order, here, you can highlight it and say remove from follow-up. That's where that can be done. Let's see. I couldn't get her in. All right, so it looks like that's all the questions right now. So hopefully I answered everything. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully this training was helpful. If you feel, like I said, you need additional training up, there's one more question. Is there a notes section for symptoms? I don't believe that's an option that's available in Aura Writer, so that's why it's not available on the tablet. If there is a section in Aura Writer that we're missing, reach out to us, send us an email, we'll look into it, and yes, that would be something we could add as a feature request. So, folks, like I said, if I don't talk to you, all of you have a wonderful holiday season. Thank you so much for being customers. Like I said, hopefully this was helpful, and if you need additional training, please let us know. Take care.